So in this video, I'm going to show you in 3 steps the principles for creating multiple passive income streams so that you can afford to live your purpose with complete peace of mind. Now, if you've ever had the choking feeling that life is passing you by and you're wasting the most precious time of your life in a job or business you're no longer passionate about, and as a result missing out on all the most precious moments of life that actually count for something, then you're in the right place. Because the 3 steps I'm going to share with you are the 3 most important lessons distilled from coaching literally thousands around the world since 2016, when I personally left my 20-year corporate law career. And what stands out is that anyone who applies these shockingly simple truths can escape the mundane and create the income to have the means to live a purposeful, meaningful life. And make sure you stick around to the end, where I'll give you a bonus tip on how anyone can afford to live their purpose with complete peace of mind. So if you're ready, let's dig in. Now, my name's Tim Loh, and I teach people how to create multiple income streams using their purpose instead of mastery so that they can live purposeful, meaningful lives. Now, before we get into the 3 steps, there's one important principle you need to understand. Now, to be fulfilled, you need to pursue your purpose and not someone else's. Now, if you're not fulfilled, if you're frustrated, you feel like your job's just a waste of time or your business isn't fulfilling anymore, all it means is that it's not leading you down the road to your purpose. If you keep doing that, you'll keep feeling frustrated and you'll never lead a meaningful life. Now, these are the most common examples that we see. You're in a job and you're feeling frustrated, and the simple reason is you're pursuing your boss's purpose and not yours. Or perhaps you've started a business and it's taking up all your time. You might be doing well, or perhaps you're still struggling to get it off the ground, but it's draining you. You're always fighting for that next dollar. That's probably because you're pursuing money as a purpose, or your client's or customer's purpose and not yours. You see, either way, you're not pursuing your purpose. You're pursuing something else or someone else's purpose. And until you start pursuing your purpose, no quick fix like a job change or looking for the next opportunity, none of that is going to get you feeling fulfilled. But we see that all the time. In fact, I've been guilty of it myself. You see, I was a corporate lawyer for 20 years. I've been in jobs that I've loved and jobs that, well, let's just say I didn't love as much. Sometimes I stuck it out. Other times I found what I thought was a better job. Perhaps it paid more, or it promised better work-life balance or whatever. But what they had in common was that they were never fulfilling. Now, even if the job was objectively better, it was only a matter of time before work disagreements or office politics happened, and the endless meetings, right? Now, the truth is that none of those things actually mattered, because as long as any of us are doing work that's not aligned with our purpose, not furthering our individual purposes, then it's always going to be frustrating. And if you've ever been on that job merry-go-round, you'll have no doubt thought to yourself, same bleep, different place. And that's why they call it the merry-go-round, because it keeps you going in circles. Except in this case, it's not so merry, is it? So now that you understand the principle that you'll never find fulfillment until you're doing work that's aligned to your purpose, that leads you to your life's purpose, we can get to step 1. Because step 1 is to get really clear on your purpose. Now, to make sure our students don't take our programs and then find themselves successful financially but unfulfilled down the road, right, we get them really clear on their life's purpose right from the outset. We get them to do an exercise on this, but I'll give you the real quick version today. Okay, basically it goes like this. How do you want to be remembered at the end of your life? Now, isn't that simple? Now, some want to be a great parent, others want to be known as an inventor or a musician or a great spouse or whatever, right? There's no right or wrong answers. Now, if everything you did with your life leads you to how you want to be remembered at the end of your life, how fulfilled will you be doing that? of course you'll be fulfilled. Sure, you'll encounter challenges, but if you know that whatever you need to do in order to overcome that challenge is leading you to how you want to be remembered at the end of your life, isn't that worth fighting for? And to help our students out with that, they go through our Quad Purpose program, which is our first signature program, the 4 levels of purpose. Now, beyond getting clear on their life's purpose, we help them ensure that every step they take leads them there so that achieving their life's purpose becomes all but inevitable. Then we do a deep purpose discovery, and that makes overcoming all those challenges feel effortless because it's driven by their strengths and their values. But for today's exercise, all you need to do is to get clear on how you want to be remembered and keep that on top of your mind as you make decisions. Now, I'll tell you the big danger of doing this. Once you get clear on your life's purpose, that job that was frustrating, right, that's going to be even more frustrating because all you'll want to do then is to keep taking steps towards your life's purpose. And in the rare instance when your job might lead you to your life's purpose, then that's great. But most of the time, knowing your life's purpose that clearly and not being able to head towards it every moment of the day because of some financial or time constraints, that can lead to even greater frustration. Which leads me to step number 2. See, step 2 is to get rid of those financial and time constraints and start being able to afford to live your purpose. Now, one of the biggest mistakes we see people making before they come to us is that they believe that they can find an opportunity to make it big, right? They also believe that a lot of good opportunities aren't accessible to them, that only the wealthy have access. And so they scour the internet looking for one guru or another. When they hear of opportunities like the latest cryptocurrency craze or that the world economy is going to collapse and that gold will rally or whatever, they pounce at it. And they think that if they master it, like the job they've done for 20 years, then that'll be their ticket to freedom. They believe that once this happens, they'll be able to afford to live their purpose without those financial or time constraints. And that couldn't be further from the truth. In fact, that's the exact behavior that keeps people from ever getting wealthy enough to afford to live their purpose. Now, there are 2 elements to that I want to point out. The first is the risk of going after specific opportunities in that way, which I'll get to a little bit more in step 3. The other element is that they try to master it, because that's what they've always done. Mastering schoolwork gets you a good job, and they did that and they've got a decent job, right? Perhaps they struggled at the beginning, but over the years they've got good at their job. They've now got some form of mastery. And so they believe that they need to master this new income stream, this new ticket to freedom. And so they go all in. They take it seriously like it's another job. And the irony is they're getting themselves into another job. But they're determined to make it work. And it was so difficult getting this opportunity because they believe that good opportunities are rare. And with those beliefs, who can blame them for trying to master it? But mastery takes a long time and effort and stress. And a lot of them don't get it to work because mastery is just that hard. But perhaps you do, right, through sheer grit. And then now you've got to maintain it with that same amount of effort that you needed to get it to work. Because if you built it with mastery, then you need to maintain it with mastery. That same level, that same sort of detail. And that's literally another job. Now, what if I told you that the wealthy, those of us who can afford to live our purpose, who don't need to worry about working for the next paycheck, most of us have 5 or more income streams. And if you took the mastery approach, you'll have 5 jobs. And what do you get when you have 5 jobs? Possibly fired, right? Because no one can do 5 jobs well, and you'll burn out. So how do we manage to have 5 or more income streams and still manage to live a life of purpose? Well, the answer is we don't try and master our income streams. Instead, we use a system I call purpose-led proficiency or purposestry. Now imagine if you need to drive your kids to school or cook dinner for them. You don't need to be a master driver like F1's Lewis Hamilton or NASCAR's Richard Petty. You don't need to be, a master chef like Gordon Ramsay. You need to let your purpose, which is to drive your kids to school or cook a meal for them, determine the level of proficiency you need. Hence, purpose-led proficiency. Now, the good news is that everyone automatically does this. You probably are too, right? Now, the problem is that most only apply it to cooking or driving or anything else other than their finances. They use purpose-led proficiency to drive their kids, and it's fulfilling. To cook for their family, and it's fulfilling. Because they believe that a part of their purpose is to be a great parent, so driving their kids isn't a chore. And the best part about applying purpose-led proficiency to your income streams are that 1, your income streams no longer need to be mastered, so you can get them working for you in much less time and with much less effort and stress. And 2, they're fulfilling. So why are most able to apply purpose-led proficiency to their daily activities but not to their finances? Well, over the years, I've heard many reasons, but the few most common ones all revolve around fear. And this comes in various forms. First, they fear that if they don't master the skills, they'll lose money. And another form of fear is the fear of missing out, of FOMO, right? They want to master it so that they can, in their minds, justify betting big on it because they believe that good opportunities are hard to come by. And that's their once-in-a-lifetime ticket to freedom. When the truth is, it isn't. There's good opportunities everywhere once you learn to look for them. Now, I'd love to know, have you ever fallen prey to any of these false beliefs about needing to master skills or to having FOMO? Well, tell me in the comments. And if you're getting value from this video, then hit the like button so that this can help a lot more people with this content. And share it with someone whom you think this will help. And finally, hit that subscribe button and ring that bell to keep getting content just like this. Now, if you've fallen prey to these false beliefs, the way to stop that from happening is to do what the wealthy do. The wealthy apply purpose-led proficiency to their finances. And we can do that because we're not looking for that one ticket to freedom. We're building a portfolio of 5 or more income streams. Now, a question I get really often is this: isn't it dangerous not to master our income streams? And the answer to that and the solution to the fear of missing out are both in step 3. And we'll get to step 3 in a second, but before that, I want to give you a gift. It's a 4-day lifestyle income workshop, and it's an on-demand video workshop series, which I want to give you absolutely free as my gift to you for hanging out with me on this video. You'll be learning why passive income has eluded you all these years and what you can do about it, what the wealthiest people and most profitable companies use to remain profitable and grow their wealth and income in a risk-managed and sustainable way, and finally, why most stumble when trying to grow their income and wealth, and how you can avoid those pitfalls so that you can start taking concrete steps to building your income streams and living your purpose instead of going 1 step forward and 2 steps back all the time. Now, I pull back the curtain on what I do for passive income and introduce you to some of my favorite passive income streams that I'm using right now that are putting money in my pocket even as you're enjoying this video. All you need to do is to head over to start.purposeful.com/workshop, which is on the screen right now and in the description below. Put in your email address and my team will send you the 4 videos right to your inbox. And you can watch it anytime you want, and it's fast and actionable. So pay attention and take action. Now, whether you're a beginner who hasn't the faintest idea where to start, or you've got passive income streams, but they're causing you stress and taking all your time so you can't live your purpose, this on-demand workshop will change your life. It's completely free as my gift to you. And now back to the video. So step 3, the answer to the question, isn't it dangerous not to master our income streams, and the solution to that dreaded FOMO, or the fear of missing out, that makes us take bigger risks than we should? And the answer is, you need to manage your risk. Now, a lot of the time you hear about risk management in the financial world as downside protection or not losing too much money. But if there's one thing I've learned after 20 years of corporate law and being actively involved in private equity deals, I've invested in companies that have exited close to $1 billion in public market IPOs, is that risk management is a lot more than not losing money. In fact, if you manage risk well, risk management can actually make you money. Now, I'll get to that in a second, but the point will be clearer after this. Now, one of the biggest lies that most have consistently been told is high risk, high reward. And frankly, that is complete and utter rubbish. But most have been told this so often that they believe it. And so they use it to justify the FOMO in their minds and to go all in on that amazing new opportunity. Because they think that that's their ticket to freedom, and so they do the math and they figure that if they put in a lot more money than they should, they could make millions, and so they do that. I mean, put in more money than they should, not the make millions part. Right? In fact, too much money from good, hardworking, honest people has been lost in this way. And that's one of the reasons I'm making this video. I can tell you that the wealthy never do that. Right? We manage our risk. We think in terms of portfolios or probabilities of wins and losses and the impact to our portfolio. And there's a whole system of math around that. Math that can help us be consistently profitable, even if we're wrong half the time or more. That's right. If you manage risk and put in the right structures, you can be consistently profitable, even if you're wrong, and you certainly don't need mastery for that, right? And I go into a lot more details on this exact math in my free lifestyle income workshop, which I told you about earlier. And once you can see that, then there's no more FOMO because opportunities are everywhere, hidden in plain sight. And instead of high risk, high reward, the wealthy consider the returns for the amount of risk taken. So rather than thinking, we need to take more risk to make more money, we think of how we can lower our risk to get more reward in proportion to the risk taken. Because compounding is a large part of how we grow our assets, and you only compound what you keep. If you win some and lose some, and play that high-risk, high-reward game, you'll never build your assets and income streams to a point where you can live your purpose with complete peace of mind. And that's the key to being able to afford to live your purpose. Right? Grow your assets, and that will automatically grow your sustainable passive income streams. And you'll never fear or complain about inflation again, because once you're in that position, the more inflation there is, the more your wealth grows. And that's how you can afford to live your purpose with complete peace of mind. So if you want to start growing your assets, you need to watch this video and hit that like and subscribe, or watch this other video which YouTube thinks you'll like.